All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our client interview today. My name is Kale Owen. I'm super excited to be here with Braxton Gilbert. Look at that beard. Let's just if you're here and you're watching this, just drop inside the comments. Just look at that beard and the haircut. We were talking about it before. I'm not gonna lie. I used to have a big old beard, but not anywhere close to that. And at some point, maybe today's interview, we will have to get into the beard products that you're using.
Man, that's what we're really here for.
Dude, it is. It really is. It's the
I
power
want
of
to
the
go to the gym, but if I could just have a beard like that,
Hey, man, that and your barber. If you're in Mobile, Alabama, you're going to want to snipe this guy's barber because the barber's on point too. So this is phenomenal. Braxton, thank you so much for hopping in today, man. I appreciate it. He's the owner of Braxton Gilbert Fitness in Mobile, Alabama. And we're going to just talk today and share your story, man, because you have a pretty cool story. I know you've got some really cool things that I think a lot of gym owners will want to hear. You run a personal training facility, and then we got some really cool stuff to get into on what you're doing with the success that you've seen as well. Because I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel for a lot of gym owners. They want to. A lot of them can't see it.
The light moves a lot.
It does move a lot. And sometimes that tunnel seems really, really long and that light seems really, really small, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel for a lot of gym owners. And I want to get into that. So let's start at the beginning, man. What got you into the fitness business? When did you start? All that good stuff.
All right. So what got me into the fitness business was picking up quite a good amount of personal progress with my own fitness. I'm probably pretty 100% sure that's how most people get started in fitness. Or some type of business, they bake good pies, so they open up a pie shop. So I was very, very, very thin and wanted to get some muscles, get a girlfriend, 13, 14 years old. So that's what it was, man. I was like working out. And as I got into training, got into fitness, it was like, hey, Braxton, man, you're getting a little bit of muscle on his arms. And I'm like, really? No shit, right? I was 15 years old. And at the time, one of my teachers was friends with Mr. Alabama and for bodybuilding. And he was like, hey, dude, my friend Christian wants to Christian Simmons, shout out my boy if you ever hear this. Christian Simmons, he wants a young guy like yourself to do like janitorial services, clean the gym, keep it clean. And he said he'll give you a gym membership for free. And I was like, well, I've already got a gym membership, but I know he owns a supplement shop. So if he wants to hook up with some creatine, glutamine, and protein every month, I will gladly scrub them toilets. So that's how I got into the gym, kind of doing some work, was cleaning the gym. It'd be late after hours. And that's how I picked up my first training clients, is because I'm not about to approach somebody and be like, yo, man, your bench press form is wrong. First off, I'm 15 years old. My dad's dropped me off at this gym to clean it. But there was, I want to help. That's kind of like just naturally how I am as a person. And so I'd be hanging out, mopping and cleaning, and it'd be like late at night, and there'd be this big motherfucker in there doing something with lateral raises, and he's like turning his thumbs out a little bit. And I'm like, hey, bro, it's just me and you in here. So no one's going to see this, but, I'm skinny as fuck, and I put on 20 pounds, and I had to learn a lot to try to get there. I'm just saying, if you turn your thumbs out a little bit, and he's like, all right, and then he's like, oh shit, that does, what's your name again? And so then it was like this late night tip giver. Yep. That was my first job, and then it'd be like, well, if you pair it up with this move, here, come here, let me show you, and then I pair him up. Next thing I know, I'm taking people through this hour-long workout as they're like, looking at me like, that's crazy. How did you learn that? Because I really consumed a bunch of information about training. I was ordering college textbooks about exercise science and kinesiology therapy and stuff as an 8th and 9th grader. Because I was like,
which no one does. If you're in 8th and 9th grade, nobody does that.
Yeah, right. No one. I'm literally spending all summer learning this stuff because I'm like, dude, if I'm going to get fucking jacked, I got to learn how to, use my muscles. If I can learn more, then I'll get bigger. So then I'm doing that quite often. And one day I told my dad about it. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm training these people. I'm up there, kicking ass an hour or two, whatever. And he was like, why don't you charge them? And I was like, what do you mean? Well, I mean, why don't you charge them? He's like, charge them like $5, And I was like, good point. $5, man. Hell yeah, I could do that. All right, cool. So next day I asked him, he's like, I'll do a training session with you, man, but it's gonna be $5. And he's like, sure, okay, here's $5.
He's like, all right.
Yeah. I'm like, is that all right?
You're sweating. You're all clammy. You're shaking a little bit. You're like
all day long. I'm like, you can put it on the credit card, So
we do a payment plan.
$250, right? So that's what I started doing. I'm like, $5, $10, $15. So I started getting a little something going on here. So I'm still the janitor at the gym, soon as I put down the mop and bucket, I'm hopping and I got 2 clients back to back, $10, $10. Funny enough, actually, if you want a funny story of this, I was doing this like 1 to 2 hour long training sessions for $10.
Yep.
Right. This is the greatest pricing model.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm doing all the work, So I make this post and put it on Facebook, and I'm like, I posted my transformation picture. I'm like, and I say, hey, I'm doing personal training, nutrition plans, $10, 2-hour training sessions. A local business guy in Mobile, my buddy Dean Parker, still my friend, talked to me yesterday on the phone. We're business partners in another business venture. He calls me. He's like, hey, Dean Parker, business dude. He's got a private jet. This is 2016. He's got a Tesla, like one of the first ones.
That's awesome.
He's like, I want to hire you as my trainer because I saw your picture. You look like you got buff, man. That's cool. And I'm like, why does he want to hire me? Like,
how old are you at the time?
I'm 16. Right? 16. Yeah. This motherfucker, he's got all the money. And like, why is he calling me? So I'm like, my dad's like, get back on the phone. I'm like, hey, yeah, I could do that for sure, I guess. And I was like, well, come by. We can meet at Starbucks or something and talk about it, And he's like, well, come by my office. And so really cool. This is a blessing. I'm very, very thankful for this. Someone had believed me. So I go by his office and he's like, come in. So I sit down at the table and I'm like, what are we doing? And he's like, what do you do? And I'm like, what do I do? And he's like, yeah, what do you do? I was like, I work out. I don't know. Like I'm kind of doing some workouts with people now. And he's like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know this. I like doing this, And he said, how much money do you need to make every month to be able to quit your job and do this full time? Because I'm 16 years old. I got a girlfriend and a Honda CRV 1999, And I'm like, I got insurance, gas, and I take my girlfriend to Chick-fil-A, So I remember doing the math in my head and telling him I need $360 a month. Right? I'm living, baby. And he goes, all right, here's what we'll do. I'm busy. So he's, like I said, he got a private jet. He's in and out. He's every other day he's going somewhere doing something. It's like 15 companies that my buddy runs.
Man.
Nuts. Wonderful guy. Good friend. And he goes, but here's the deal. I'll pay you $500 a month the next 3 months. And you be my trainer 5 days a week, right? We'll do 5 sessions a week, but I need you available 24/7 within 1 hour's notice, whenever I want for the next 3 months. And I'm like, yeah.
I'm not going to turn that down.
Are you kidding me? Yes. And so then I go quit my retail job and I'm like, Mom, I'm doing personal training. Dean hired me. I still remember getting handed a stack of, what was that? $50, $20 bills. Like, all this fucking money. It's crazy. $5 session. I got a big pay raise. So I did that for 3 months. At that point, hanging around somebody who believed in the entrepreneurial spirit. I still remember one time him pulling up to the gym and goes, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, what? He's like, your voicemail. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, it goes, hello? Oh, hey man, sorry I'm not here. He's like, you're a businessman. Change your voicemail. And so being around him was a great blessing. And like I said, still good friends. We have a business together too now. But like, hey, you could do this. You should try charging more. I'm like, charging more? Yeah, find the market value of training, which at the time is $30. So I started charging $30. By the time our 90 days had run up, I was probably making, I don't know, an extra $1,000 or so a month just doing training. And so I would replace the income, right? So he goes off. And then at this point, I'm starting to build it up, right? So yes, that's how I got started. I guess I tend to be a storyteller, but that's how I got started in training.
That's phenomenal. That's amazing. So when did you start Braxton Gilbert Fitness?
When I found out I had to pay taxes. Or I still wouldn't be a company.
Shout out to taxes on that one. Shout out to the government. Shout out to the IRS. Everything's due, by the way. If you're watching this, you should have already paid it because it was due on the 17th. So you should have already paid it, or you got that good old extension. So
yeah, that's my motivation to start a company. So I was like, all right, making probably $1,500 or so, then making more. Then I was like, I need to create some type of legal entity. So I went and created Braxton Fitness, where I really started picking up money, and I think made the jump. And I think it's like the leap that like probably not people at all that are listening to this particular story right now, but a lot of people who are just trainers and trying to make a business out of it is getting some type of like sale. Like you sell a program, you sell results, you sell like it's worth $4,000 or so. So like I still remember the first time selling someone instead of, because I'm a phenomenal salesperson, absolutely phenomenal salesperson. I'm really great at it. But when I started, I was absolutely horrible. And I'm like, what do you want to buy? So I had this piece of paper that had like 10 sessions or 20 sessions or 30 sessions with incrementally lower prices. And I would genuinely get done with a session and be like, great job today. Here, I'm gonna leave that with you. I'll be back. And I would leave. I would just leave and come back and see what they checked. That's how horrible I was. So I still remember the first time, like, maybe I should sell someone on results. I was watching a lot of like Bedros Keuilian videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Sell someone results and it'd be like, hey, 12 weeks or 16 weeks and do this kind of thing. And then we'll set up a card on file. And I stayed up all night. I literally didn't sleep that night thinking about, okay, all right, I'm going to say you're in pretty good shape. So if I don't need 16 weeks, you need 12 weeks. We'll do 3 times a week for $20. You want to pay on like a weekly payment or bi-weekly payment? And I just kept practicing that. And then I sold her the next morning. And I remember being elated, like, wow, this is amazing. So now I have guaranteed income. So then it was like every person that asked me about training, then I had somewhat of a system to put them in and like create a contract with. So literally by the time I was 17 in 1 year, I graduated high school at 17 and I was making about $11,000 a month doing personal training.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Money, baby. I was doing great. And, which was, to be honest, at the very much the most profitable my personal training business had been up until probably about a year ago, 6 months ago, because I was making $11K and paying my buddy $200 a month.
Yeah, didn't matter.
I live with my parents, man. I'm like,
yeah, you got nothing, no expenses. Life is good.
Oh, dude, I'm killing it, you know. So then I was thinking, okay, I'm training general population people.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I was like, they're in this gym and, you know, love my man Christian, but, you know, he's Mr. Alabama. It's like, blah, everybody's just jacked out of their fucking minds. And I'm trying to help Susie with an, you know, eating disorder. So I'm like, hey, look, we're just trying to create a positive experience with exercise, trying to help you feel good, you know, and trying to eat less shit. And it's like, we're in the, you know, and there's a dude deadlifting like 600 pounds or left. He's like ripping his shirt off, you know, and I'm like, just look at me, you know, just right. So I was like, all right, I could give a better service if I was in my own space. And there was a car lot that had gone out of business near my house. It was like 1,500 square feet and it was perfect for just a little studio. So they wanted a 1-year lease. I'm 18 and I'm like trembling, signing this paper, like, oh my God, I'm signing off for a year. It was like $1,500.
$1,500.
Yeah. So I was like, the biggest commitment I'd ever made in my entire life.
Oh yeah, dude.
So sign off the lease, buy some dumbbells, buy some treadmills with the money I'd saved up because I make great money. Because I had a great sales system that was turning out cash and selling results. So if you don't, that's a great thing.
Oh yeah.
And then it was like, yo, I've got 50 clients and I'm also making these videos like, yo, what's up? It's Braxton. I'm a Chick-fil-A getting a salad. Great way to eat healthy on the go, you know, and I'm trying to make these and edit the videos, but I got a client. So let me go do this client. So I'm like, all right, I need to get some help.
Yep.
So hired a girl to do like, I was like, hey, I'll pay you, you know, $12 an hour. Just sit at the front desk and schedule all my appointments.
That's awesome.
Pretty good. Oh, by the way, will you cook my meals? I was like, will you spend Monday cooking food? And she's like, I could legitimately. So I did. Can you spend your Monday cooking food? Yes. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, can you make these foods for me? And she's like, I mean, yeah, I guess so. So on Monday she'd cook and then, you know, then no job description there. Yeah. And then I was like, all right, let me hire a trainer. So I knew a guy at a gym, talked to him, you know, the whole, how everyone starts piecing together somewhat of a team.
Yep.
And then within 1 year went from just a one-man band to myself and 3 other trainers and administrative help. And also that 1 year lease was closing and we went from doing about $10,000 a month. So we were doing about $26,000 or so a month in a year.
That's awesome.
So it was steady growth, right? But then it's like starts to get these problems. Like I'm like, oh fuck! Now I sold 20 people a month to get here. Now I'm losing 20 people a month because they're, you know, like their contracts are ending. So I remember that first month sitting in the office, like, wait, I have to sell 21 people this month just to grow by 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I begin to see some, you know, a little bit of plateauing. Get to the new facility. I don't even know if I'm answering a question at this point. If I'm just telling.
No, you're good, man. Just keep going. Let's do real quick. Let's do timeline right now. So the people watching this understand and we're listening to this. Yeah. How old are you right now?
Right now I'm 23. I'll be 24 in a month.
Okay. So you're 23. So this is 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. That's good. No, it was good.
Like almost last week, you know?
Yeah, I know, right? I wasn't sure if you were going to say like I'm 21, and I was like, okay, cool, all right. So it's like,
you're like, this guy just figured it out. So yeah, this is like a month ago. All right, so then this is 2000 and I don't know, 16ish, 17ish or so. Yeah, 2017 is then when I moved over to the new spot. So the new spot was a bigger facility. It was like 7,000 square feet.
Wow. So you went from 1,500 square feet or like to 7,000 square feet. How much was that? So your rent was 1,500. Now what'd you go to?
Right at 4,000, which is a good price. Yeah.
That's a great price for that size, but man, like, okay.
Yeah. Right. And so one thing that I just recently developed is a little bit of being such a strong sales driver, visionary, but also how do we save some cash at the same time? Because I'm like, fuck it, 4,000, whatever, fine, $4,000, we're growing. Let's do this thing, you know, paint the walls of every color and I don't care, buy it, spend it. So, so we moved over to that spot. Now I'm like at 6 or 7 trainers. I look back at the way I did the training model then with just like, oh, I wish I could go back and shake me by the shoulders and be like, don't own, and this is just my setup now, because right now all the trainers are 1099s and I work as a brokerage. It's the most phenomenal thing.
So much better.
But then it was like, all right, Kale, you're my boy, you're into fitness, I got you. Just do 20 hours a week for a couple of weeks, and I got 40 hours a week, and I got you. So if our clients were going up and down, there was no like retention, and you felt the pain. It was just like it was almost like my employees were a fixed cost too.
Yeah, all the time.
$16,000 a month in like paying trainers. That was like, didn't matter if I had 100 clients or 180 clients. Like literally didn't matter. Just still paid them the same. So that was kind of fucked. But that's what I did. So that's, you know, you live and you learn, right? So I opened up that studio there. I moved. So it wasn't a second location. It was just moving to a bigger spot. Grew to probably 7, 8. I think eventually my staff, including administrative help, couple front desk, was like 13 or so. And we were doing like around $50,000, $45,000 to $50,000 an average a month. And that's kind of where we hung out, right?
And how much were you taking home at that point?
Dude, I'd say I was taking home, because I lived in the business too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really took advantage of that. So I'd say I was probably living on like 150.
Okay.
Or so.
Yeah.
150 or so. I then got a loft downtown. I got a Tesla P85D. You know, like I started just blasting through it, man. My monthly like burn rate of just cash for living was like $5,000 or so.
You were living the dream at that point. It was it.
Truly, man. 2019 was like the end of this momentum of going up with the business. That's where my leadership skills started to show horribly. Where it was like, you know, I'm not leading a cohesive team. I don't have clear goals and objectives for the future. I'm just a phenomenal salesperson, and that's allowed me to eat and my staff to eat. But now, like literally, Kale, our churn rate was 26% over the course of 2019. Every month, 26%. So I had the biggest year in sales I've ever had in 2019. I sold like 30 people a month on personal training, right?
Because you have to.
Yeah, and personal training was like, you know, 400 hours or so at the time. So it was like great. Every Friday, I'm like, fuck yeah. You know, like we're having a blast. We're making, dude, I did this much sales this month. But then we lost the same amount of people.
Yeah. Every 4 months, you were literally every quarter, almost every quarter. It's less. You're running through your entire roster that you just got.
Yeah. So I'm pretty embarrassed about that. I'm not like shameful about it. I mean, I've learned, you know, but that's like, damn, I really fucked that up, you know, because
great lesson though.
Yeah, great lesson, right? But if we could have our churn rate that we've had, and this is free if anybody wants this. Like, I was just driving one day. I thought, well, first off, I kind of got myself together and was like, all right, Brax, move out of the fucking loft, sell the damn Tesla, you know, put the grind back on the gear. It's not time to retire. You haven't made your living yet. You know, like, great. You have a gym that allows you to make $5,000 or $10,000 a month. Hoorah. Are you done? You're not done. All right, get back to fucking work. So I was like, all right, done. Sold it all. Moved in with my brother.
Real quick. When was the wake up call for you on that? And what was the catalyst for you? Because a lot of people don't even see it. They just are blind to it and oblivious to it.
Just being broke, man. Like,
yeah,
being broke. And I was like an old man looking at my dick, trying to get it to go up. Like I couldn't get the money to go up. I was like, why can't I do everything to try to get this thing to go up and nothing's happening? You know, I'm literally pouring everything. I'm selling like a madman. Yeah. I'm like doing videos. I'm blasting it. I'm like, literally, it shows like my brain is like, if you peeled it open, it'd say sales on it, because the idea of maybe I'm losing people didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
At all. I remember sitting there on my couch one day getting a text from someone where they were like, I can't train anymore. And I literally remember thinking, I don't give a shit. I'll replace it. I'll just,
gotcha.
I'm good at that. That's what I do, you know?
Yeah.
So funny enough, and I remember telling my brother about this. I was like, yo, bro, it's churn. He's like, not duh. Like, you can't lose people. And I'm like, I don't think about that.
Yeah.
So, the wake up call when I was like, I don't have money at all. I don't have any fucking money.
Yeah.
I got a cool car that I paid $2,000 a month for. I got a cool loft I paid, $2,000 a month for, $1,100 a month for. Like I eat out every fucking meal.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm not saving any cash. And if the business failed tomorrow, I would literally be like, I had a great experience.
If you stop selling, that business goes down.
Yeah. I was like, dude, if I'm not busting my ass with sales. So, and to be honest, to be like about where this gets to me is I was like, you're really scared to step up and be a leader. Like you're scared to be like, all right, guys, here's what we're doing from now on. There was none of that. I was a good salesperson. Give me a client, I'll add him to the roster. But stand up in front of everybody and be like, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. And here's what we're going to do from now on. Here's how it's going to be. That kind of thing was like a big fear.
That's massive. It's interesting. I was just doing a podcast the other day with Ed. It was earlier this week that we posted it in the group. We were talking about this and how a lot of gym owners, in our opinion, because we all face this, right? We all face this as gym owners. I did, like in every position, like you get to a point where sometimes you're like, I'm making decent enough money. You kind of get like, you're like, I don't know if I want to take that next step because of that fear of the person that I have to become in order to get there. That's a scary position to be in, man, because you're looking over into an abyss and you don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And when you take that leap.
Or for me, I knew exactly what I was looking at. I was looking at people thinking I was an asshole. And I don't want to be an asshole, right?
You want to be liked, right?
Yeah. So that was, exactly, man. Exactly. So that was tough, man. And the biggest thing that happened was my day one employee, my first trainer I hired. His name's Bryant, still a good buddy of mine. He got an opportunity to go and open up an F45 over in New Orleans and own it and run it with an investor. And he's like, I'm going to go do this. And so cool thing. Here's how I kind of buffered myself from the pain of being a better leader.
Yeah.
Which you definitely should do. I put him as my head trainer. I was like, go to him.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. You should be correcting these people. You should be keeping them online, something I never do, Yep. So then when he quit, it was like the somewhat of a loose foundation we had, which was the head trainer. Because he had the obligation to kind of keep things together, but still there was no leadership, gone. So I'm like, we're at 26% churn. My head trainer just left. Who's going to fix this? And I'm like driving, and I'm like, well, you motherfucker, I guess.
All eyes on you.
I don't want to fix this, I got to go in there. What do you mean? Go in there and get nervous and tell them that we got to do better, What if they think I'm a dick, You can tell naturally I'm a very an agreeable person.
Yep.
I've learned to be disagreeable though. So I'm like, all right, now this is the thing. I'd hire my dad at this point. My dad works for me full time now. He was a manager. Wow. So that was somewhat of the help of like, all right, you know what? If this business goes down and fails, then your dad loses his job and you don't want that to happen. So I remember calling all my employees together for a meeting and saying, all right, guys, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do emotionally and personally, but we fucking suck and we're horrible and we lose a quarter of our clients every single month and we will not go into next year like this. Like nobody's mad at me. Now I'm like, get your shit together, get out, But so I was like, we're going to spend the next year working on, I'm not even going to focus on sales. We're going to spend the next year working on the best customer experience. Knowing we hold the door open for everybody, making sure we master the workout, making sure we give people the best experience with the workouts that they're doing, giving them the community, run this thing like we really know that we should. So we're not losing people left and right. Also at the time, a technical thing for any people like thinking about an actual, not just change of hoorah we made, but I technically changed that instead of when KL signs up as wanted to be personal training, instead of him working with Braxton on Monday and then Jessica on Wednesday and then Friday with Andre, we just gave you one trainer for the most part, for the best we could. So it wasn't perfect, but we started to get them a little more in line with that, and that started to produce a positive result. So that was the change for me. It was like, I'm out of money. My head trainer just left, and I have a very clear moment here. Either I'm going to be really, really, really scared and not change this, or I'm going to be really scared and change it and do it anyways. And that's the option I went for. And now it's been really, really, really awesome from there. So yeah, that was definitely the change.
Dude, that's awesome. That's incredible.
Thanks,
That's
dude.
incredible. So let's fast forward. That's 2019, 2020, you're making the change, and all of a sudden COVID hits. How did that affect your business?
But man, I'm invigorated, like COVID hit, but I'm like, just give it, I'll eat it up. Because at this point, I've decided I'm putting the leader shoes on. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it scared. So, right. So it wasn't even like
that new identity. You're like, that's your new identity.
Yeah. So I'm like, give it to me, So when COVID came, it was not that bad on us because we got lucky. I don't even know if we got lucky. I think we just made a good decision to swap all of our sessions to online before the shutdown even happened.
That's awesome.
So we did it. We literally did it like a couple days before our governor said we got to shut down. We made a video, really cool. It's on my Instagram, actually. Check it out. Really cool video, advertising of sorts. Sent it to all of our clients and said, hey, look, to keep yourself healthy, we're going to make sure to take you through your same Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever Kale's, sessions are. You're going to meet your trainer now through good old FaceTime or through Zoom.
That's awesome.
So that's how we got through that, plus the payroll protection program is how we got through.
Good old PPP.
Yeah, the old PPP, right?
That's awesome. Yeah,
so we did a really good job. So we did 85% of the year prior, 2019, which was, not a phenomenal year in terms of churn, not at all, but we still made good money. Mm-hmm. We did about 85 to 90% of that revenue in 2020 because we were able to hold on to much of our clients. So that was really good.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's amazing. So you're doing really well. You're doing all this stuff. Walk me up to, when did you join Gym Launch?
I joined Gym Launch probably 3 months ago.
Okay. And what were you doing before? So that would be February is when you joined, or March is when you joined?
March was when I joined.
March. Okay. So in February, what did you do revenue wise in February?
In February, I did probably probably around the same number, $40,000, $45,000 or so.
Okay. And that's kind of about where you'd been for the last, how long?
Last 2 years. I mean, since we opened a new gym, that one over there.
Yeah.
Once I hit the 40, 50 mark around March 2019, well, I guess so that'd be about a year then. No, 19 and 20, 21. Yeah. So 2 years.
Okay.
So yeah, $40,000 or so was really what we were bringing in.
Okay.
And like for this month, we'll do right at tickling the under nuts of 80 grand.
Dude. Yeah. Let's talk about that real quick. So from 40 to literally almost doubling within like 2 months, really. But why did you join Gym Launch? What was it?
So I did a podcast with Jamal on getting through COVID. And when we were talking, he was like, yo, man, you actually might like to do our program. And I was like, well, let me hear about it, man. Tell me about it. And he was like, well, you want some money? And I was like, well, yeah, I want I got some money in a bag for you if you want it. About $300,000 in a bag, you pay 13 grand for it.
Meet me out back. Yeah,
and I was like, all right, I'll meet you. Deal. So yeah, that was how I heard about it. Was doing the podcast with Jamal, and then afterwards was this sounds like some really challenging stuff that I could integrate into my business. And let's do it. One of the biggest things was the lead generation with Pepper. That was that's a great point. That's a really great point. I read the book Gym Launch, and I read it a couple times, and I was like, man, Alex has got some really clear perspectives on this whole gym thing, and wow, it's brilliant, So yeah, that's how I got bought into it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do some numbers real quick. So you're doing around 44K in February. How many members did you have at that point?
At the time I had about 120.
That's great though, dude. So all of your trainers at that point were contractors, right?
Yeah. As of 2 months, as of the beginning of
so you just started. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's great though.
So technically, no. Technically, they were functioning as contractors, but we're still paying them W-2 until March, I think. So I think the first 2 months of the year was just like, all right, you're your own business now. You run it yourself. Do your own scheduling. I'm not touching administrative. Do your own account balances. Everything. Yep. And we'll just watch it from the watchtower and dish out the money and keep a percentage. So we just decided instead of paying you hourly for $20, $25 an hour, we'll just split the fees down the middle and you do everything.
That's perfect. Okay.
So that's what we did in the beginning of the year. That's what we started doing. And then we swapped them technically to 1099s around March.
Okay. So March, how much in revenue did you do in March?
It's April now. In March, we did 55. Cool.
So like top line of like what you'd done before. So kind of hitting that top ceiling. And then April, you did what?
In April, we did $70,000.
Goodness gracious. And how many clients did you finish? How many clients do you have right now?
We have 245 today. And that's for training clients. Those are like the bottom of the barrel are paying like $250 and the upper are paying like $650.
Dude. So did you raise your prices since joining?
Yeah, we went to $60. We went from $40 sessions to $60 sessions.
So you raised your prices, you doubled your membership, and you've pretty much doubled your revenue. You're on pace to hit $1 million run rate this month, most likely.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude.
And I vow, my friend.
Dude, it's all you, man. You're the one. You got to put in the work. You put in the time. You got to execute. That's the whole piece, man.
Yeah, and you don't buy Tesla when you start making a little bit of cash because you get distracted and it drives itself. So you don't even work anymore. You're like, oh, look at this. I can just chill.
You just chill, hanging out, man. Life lessons with Braxton, bro. That's a new podcast for you.
It definitely is. So I think the biggest changes for us was the biggest changes is getting the whole out of the bucket was plugging it with the 1099 thing, it was just, and it wasn't so much a 1099 thing. It was more, what I mean by 1099 is like, you take care of your fucking problems, like
creating ownership and responsibility.
You lost the client. It's not my fault. Right. Yeah. So it was like, all right, so now instead of you training everyone's trainers and client stuff, you're going to train your clients. And if you do a great job, you keep them.
Yep.
And if you don't, if they leave them, I'm going to stop feeding you clients.
That's my question. So just to be clear, you are still feeding them clients, but it's their job to keep them and they obviously get less clients. It's really just like, hey, if you're sucking, I'm not going to give you clients.
That was the biggest shift. I went from the allegiance to my friend. How you doing, brother? I got you 40 hours. To the allegiance to my bank account and was like, oh, you want $1? Do a dance.
Oh, well, you got to earn it, right? You got to earn it. Yeah, man. You got to prove it.
Do it better, So they got a better dance over here. I'm going this way. That's what I became,
And so here's what's interesting, because a lot of gym owners, right? A lot of business owners, period, would look at that and be like, oh man, you sold out, right? And so I'm going to let's talk about that for a second, because I would bet, and I think you would probably agree, and I'm assuming your clients would probably agree too, not only has your business grown, which means you're serving twice the amount of people, you're changing twice the amount of lives every month than you were 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The other piece is you're now helping all of your trainers make more money and become better business people. You're training new entrepreneurs. So not only are you helping twice the amount of people and changing twice the amount of lives, you're also stimulating the economy, providing more money for people.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I bet your clients are getting better results.
100%. I mean, it all like snapped into the right place. Because if it was seen as someone's like, oh, well, you sold out, you became a selfish prick. I was like, more so, I think I just re-understood the value of the resource of money, and that if you got money, your actions you did to receive that were being reaffirmed, that you felt good about what you did. So I just changed it to where I gave out money for the right actions, to where now if you did a good job, you got paid. And it's like the bump on the logs got traded like bump on the logs, and the people who did great, they got bump.
You incentivize proper behavior.
Exactly. And the funny thing is the trainers went from making about $40,000 a month or a year to literally overnight to $80,000 a year.
Look at that.
Because it was like, I'll pay you a shit ton more money if you do a great job. And oh, by the way, it's on your ass. If you have more than a 5% churn rate, then I'm not handing you more clients.
And I bet they love that.
Yeah. And on top of that, so people that think this is a bad idea, on top of that, why do people quit a gym and go open their own studio? Because they want to make their own damn schedule. They want to take off. They want to. I don't know when these guys take off. I don't know. I just know their churn rate.
That's it.
And I know the money coming in every month. That's it. So that's where it's like, I'll literally allow you to run your own business. I'll have a badass facility. You run it in here. I'll give you clients. I'll act as your aide. I'll give you clients. I'll split those with you, right? And then if you want to train your own clients in here, train them. I'll take 15% of the revenue straight off the top.
Love it. When was the last time you trained someone?
I had one buddy that I trained for the last year. more so like a friend, but as a client, it's probably been a year and a half.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really great. It's allowed me to really step into, and really when I stopped training my buddy a few months ago, probably 2 months ago, I'd say like 12 weeks ago, it was like, yeah, I definitely want to just, I don't like sitting at the computer a lot, but I get up and walk around enough, but I definitely enjoy that part. So the plugging of the hole was changing responsibilities. The growth though, has been obviously a mathematical response to the less churn, right? Because like literally since December, we've averaged like 2% a month churn.
That's huge. So it just stacks.
Yeah. So I'm just going to continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's now we've got a really good leader, and he's doing a good job of like, we have meetings every week. We have, there's an agenda to what we're doing. There's excitement about things. There's like over here on the wall, there's our leaderboard for our sales for the month for people. We've got a big trip to Miami that I told everyone the next month and a half. I'll show you how to use Pepper. You use Pepper, grow your business, and we'll all grow. And then I'll take everyone to Miami and we'll just have a blast. So I explain it to like my friends and family, like there's no zero-sum game right now going on between me and trainers. Like we're all are like, wait, if we all get really rich, if we just all work together, then this is great, Yeah,
man.
So it's been really great, man. And then we also have our first ever, the first ever client challenge with all of our, like, I've never done any internal plays.
Oh, dude, you're running your first one?
Yeah, this will be our first one.
Oh, you're going to crush.
Yeah. It's going to be great. It's going to be really, really great. And we're going to give away $3,000 to the person that wins the first place. So it's like, hey, we'll do we just finished up our coaches challenge. Everybody got awesome results. So it's like, hey, we're going to add on that also our supplement revenue. And then also just give people an opportunity to make some extra cash and then get in really sexy shape for summer. Can't go wrong with that.
That's a win-win, man. That's incredible. So what's the next step, man? What's the next goal for you?
Truly the goal that I have right now, honestly, is I have a really weird relationship with money because I've always made a lot of fucking money.
Yep.
I'm 17 years old making $11,000 a month.
Yeah,
so
man.
I don't really understand money that well. Which is the funny reason when we were talking earlier, I was like, I'm literally taking the money that I'm making from the business every week.
Yep.
And this is a horrible idea. But it's the only way my brain's like understand the concept of currency. I'm taking it out in cash and I'm putting it in a drawer at my house.
So anyone watching this, if you want to find out and you want to grab a bunch of cash, just figure out where you live.
I'll get my address, top left drawer, right by the socks, man. So, and I'm like, that is literally what I'm doing every month or every week, genuinely every week, to understand that it's not a either or thing. Like you serve great customers, that's why you make money. But the purpose of a business entity and its first function is to pay out money to the people taking the risk.
Amen.
So that's where I'm like, give me $5,000, and then, okay, give me $2 more $1,000, and give me 10 grand, give me $1,000. And I'm just continuing to pull it out. So when you say, what is your goal? My goal is to, and it sounds funny because I would have used to feel bad about this or feel like I was doing something naughty. I'm not. My goal now is to completely squeeze as much cash out of the business as I can every single month. And what's funny too is, by the way, I actually wrote this down in a big journal. I wrote this down a couple of days ago. The first time ever, about a month ago, told my staff, I'm in this business to make fucking money. Don't get it confused. Are you here to make money? Yes. You here to make money? Yes. We want to help people. Yes. We love baking pies. We love pies, but we're here to make fucking money. That's what I'm here for too.
Yep.
Once I got really clear with everyone that this business operates to make cash, all of the weird conversations became very easy to have.
Super easy.
You're not producing. You're not doing well. Don't shoot me, shoot yourself. Right? Yep. This is the point of this. And then, hey, you're doing great. Here's more money. Once it became clear, they're like, so we're all here to make money, huh? We sure are.
It takes the elephant out of the room, man. It makes it super clear on everyone's goals. It aligns everyone to the same goal.
Yeah. And it generally made me feel not guilty for eating. It made me not feel guilty. Be like, I'm not in this to make you feel good. I'm in this to make money too. So,
dude, and that's something. So if you're watching this and you're in a position where some of this makes you a little bit uncomfortable, if you're watching this and listening to this, like drop a comment down below, because this is for you. Like, this is for you. Like, you feeling guilty about helping more people, which in turn makes you more money. that is an issue that you have with your relationship with money, and money is not the problem. And there are a lot of people maybe in some people's lives, right, which will make them feel guilty for making more money. Because I know for us, like when things started to change in our business and we started having more money, people look at you a little bit differently. They talk a little bit and they start running the numbers on there, and then they just make little side comments about stuff, right? And it's like one of those where you could go down a road where you start feeling guilty about the type of service that you're providing and the help, because it's a direct correlation between, it's a direct relationship between the amount of service that you're able to provide for people and about the amount of value that you're able to and the amount of money that you make. If you provide more value for people, you're going to make more money. And so like, that's huge, man, because I mean, look at it. It's a testament to you guys doing the right stuff and being able to help more people. And now you're making more money. Yeah. And it's amazing. It doesn't have to be a zero-sum game where I have to help all these people for free and not make any money.
Yeah. I think that honestly, man, was something that, and Alex had put out a podcast about this the other day about net free cash flow.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, well, that's a great motherfucking point, baby. That's the point, is to make some cash. And it's like, it's like you said it out loud to someone, they're like, yeah, that's the point. You know,
it is the point.
That's
like,
what
that is the point. Because you can do more stuff. You can help more people. You can do all the things that you want to accomplish more.
And I think that what's funny is that I've changed my mindset. Well, I don't know that I've changed my mindset as much as some of these concepts are starting to make sense to me. The idea of like, wait, to be a good leader doesn't mean that you pay your people first and you get eaten last. It means you like, cause that's a like leaders eat last kind of thing. Like I'm with that. Like I will definitely do anything I'm asking someone to do. And I'm a great leader in terms of I'm not asking people to do pepper and me not doing pepper. I'm up late last night doing pepper. But I think that leaders, in my mind, I'm starting to make more sense that like leaders don't eat last as much as leaders like just make sure there's enough for everyone to eat a bunch of. Like I'm just gonna make sure I'm eating, and there's a little bit of like integrating some of the dark side of that. Like I'm gonna make sure I eat first, motherfucker. You know, like you're here to get your own. Only reason I'm here is to get my own. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna I'm like someone with a big heart like myself. I'm gonna make sure people are taken care of. You know,
great leaders create opportunities and put people in places where they can capitalize on opportunities and be able to step up.
Exactly.
That's awesome, man. I love it, dude. Well, cool, man. Dude, this has been awesome, bro. We're going to have to do a follow-up for sure. Let me, what's something else you want to leave someone who's sitting on the fence thinking about joining Gym Launch or thinking about doing something with their gym and wanting to grow it? What's a piece of advice you'd give them?
If someone was on the fence about joining Gym Launch, I'd be like, dude, just pay the money. And if you have, I don't know what people's price points are, you know, but the psychological side of putting enough money into something like this, it would be a big deal. Then you'll finally strap down and make the change you need to, you know what I mean? So it genuinely, I could say that Gym Launch has been the best investment that I've made in terms of running my business out of anything I've done, and the best investment I've made. And it's really, really, really been amazing to get such close proximity to people that genuinely want me to grow my business and help out and have experience doing it. That's the biggest part. So I have a big heart of gratitude, and I would personally help someone enter their credit card information if they were on the fence.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
What I would do is I would tell them, hey, if it doesn't work, then I'll pay you back. But if it does work, you owe me $5,000. I'd hop in that deal every day.
I love it. I love it. Dude, that's it right there. That's awesome, man. Well, I look forward to doing a follow-up when you hit that 160K a month range too, because you're about to hit that 7-figure. I can't wait to hit the double, the 2 mil.
Deal, baby. I'll be here. We'll schedule for a month out.
Awesome. Braxton, thank you so much. For those of you that are watching, you like this, drop a comment in below, give Braxton a shout out. He took time out of his day to provide some feedback. So dude, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Thanks, Gil.
Awesome, man.